afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Our World, Our Power, here with Lady Pauline and my guest host, Phil Andrews, the president of the Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Wayne Gilman, political analyst and former news director of WBLS and WLIB here in New York, and Alvin Hartley, the founder and president of TMI and Partners. Welcome, my co-hosts. Now, the beautiful panelists that's on. Wayne, do you have everything to get started with them?
I'm impatiently awaiting your cue.
Okay, you can start introducing everybody to panelists.
Okay. Well, first of all, welcome once again. This is part 2 of our program for this weekend with Our World, Hour of Power. And we have an array of guests this afternoon that we're honored to have with us. I'm just going to read off the names, and people could nod or perhaps give a short statement about their backgrounds, because I'm working sort of blind here without a bio. But Selena Hill, we'll start with you, an award-winning multimedia journalist. I understand you're affiliated with Black Enterprise magazine.
Yes. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday.
My name is Selena Hill. I'm the digital editor at Black Enterprise. I'm also the host of The New Norm with Selena Hill, which streams on Black Enterprise. And on top of that, I have my own independent podcast. It's a political talk show that also focuses on social issues. It's called Be Heard Talk. We used to actually do the show at WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. But now we're doing it primarily on Zoom and streaming, and Black Enterprise also streams the show, so you can catch it every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern live.
Very good, very good. We're going to move right along. Miss Sandra Lee, good afternoon and welcome once again to Our World.
Good afternoon.
Good call.
And I'm just wondering if you can give us a little bit. I see here that you're the founder of a GTM Villages LLC. Could you give us a brief description as to what that's all about?
Yes, I run a property management business.
Oh, I need to talk to you after.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. And I also run a construction company.
Oh, I really need to talk to you. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, our next guest, thank you and welcome once again. Our next guest is Malcolm Boyd. Malcolm.
How are you doing? How you doing?
Oh, okay. You too. Okay, got you. Didn't mean no disrespect there by that. Malcolm,
no, I'm used to it. Look, I mean, hey, I can't blame you.
I'm sorry.
See, I can't blame you. No problem.
Yeah, forgive me. My mouth is awful. Anyhow, Malcolm, welcome. I see that you're the founder of Three-Legged Elephant Publishing Company.
Yes, I am.
And could you give us a description a little bit about what that's about?
Three-Legged Elephant Publishing is basically a very small publishing firm that allows the author to keep their own publishing rights, because the publishing business nowadays is quite a bit like the recording industry. It used to be way back in the day, where the artist makes 3 or 4 cents and the company winds up making millions.
I need to see both of you.
So I kind of turned it around. I'm a published author myself, so that's why I know so much about the wrong end of it, because I got done wrong at the very beginning of my journey as a published author.
Very good, very good. We'll be getting back to you shortly. Dr. George Menorah, co-founder of this media network, Our World. Welcome. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Wayne. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to join in this very important conversation. As was Mr. Gilman said, I'm Dr. George Menorah. I'm a co-founder of our World Media magazine, and I'm also into philanthropy. I'm the CEO of Foundation for Sustainable Community Development Initiative, and what we do is we help under-resourced communities here in Corona and as well as in Africa. Besides that, I have done quite a number of things in political areas. Serve on the community board in Queens. I'm also an author of the Political Diary of a Rising Sun, published in 2010. So I'm about politics, I'm about community, and I'm about building sustainable relationships. So hopefully this gathering will be an opportunity for us to do that. Also on Tuesday, if I may add, I'm going to be celebrating my 62nd birthday, 62nd.
62nd.
So,
wow. I got
guys,
socks older than yours. And I'm sorry. Yeah.
I see Carl has joined us, Carl Clay.
Okay, well, we still didn't get to Tony. I was going to get
I know. Go
Carl
ahead.
last. Thank you. Tony, if you don't mind. You're the CEO of Our Times newspaper. I'm sorry.
Right.
With a cup of coffee.
I'm the publisher editor.
Right, right. And I've seen your
Times.
publication. It's very good.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I've been doing it for, in fact, tomorrow will be my 15th anniversary.
Wow.
Since I returned. The reason why I say since I returned, because I originally started this paper in 1993. I published originally from 1993 to 1997.
Wow.
So this is my second run, and free paper that circulates in the predominantly Black neighborhoods of Southeast Queens communities, where we got the #1 revenue area in the entire Black community across the country. So I'm very proud that I've been able to sustain it throughout the years. It's been hard. It's a free paper, so we are very advertising sensitive.
Right.
So, you know.
Okay, well, we'll certainly get into that. I know that's an issue. And last but not least, I want to welcome Carl Clay. Carl, as many of you know, is the founder and CEO of Black Spectrum Theater in Queens, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Southeast Queens.
Southeast Queens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as I had asked the others, since I was unable to get bios on each, could you kindly give me a description as to what you've done there at Black Spectrum and how you're impacted by maybe the pandemic now, in a few words?
Well, we're actually celebrating our 50th anniversary, and you know we've been doing it for 50 years. This the theater started. It grew out of a workshop out of a church, Trinity Lutheran Church, back in 1969. We officially began in 1970.
Wow.
We've done over 350 plays. We've made about 25 different films, one feature-length film. You know, my own career has kind of spanned the lifeline of Black Spectrum Theater at the same time. I used to work for Melvin Van Peebles, CBS News. I've been a New York City school teacher. I've also been a lyricist with Roy Ayers and Norman Connors, jazz artists. And
all right.
I have one book under my belt and about 17 plays that I've written.
Very good, very good. It's an honor to meet you, and quite a distinguished career. And I see from the screen here, I've been joined by my good buddy, Reggie Thomas, who's down there in sunny Florida. Reggie and I go way back. He was the general sales manager at WBLS, WLIB, V103 in Baltimore, KJLH in Los Angeles, Stevie Wonder's station, Infinity Broadcasting. The only Black man I know who speaks fluent Russian. You know, welcome, Reggie.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, and welcome, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Pauline, lady, I'm going to turn it back to you. And
Okay.
Al Hartley, not to be ignored, but he's the, I guess, the ringleader for all this. You know? So
he's one of my hosts,
your host,
and also my greatest sponsor, TMI. And partners, I have to say, he's one of my greatest sponsors for Our World, Our Power radio show. So thank you, Alvin. Take my hat off to you. Thank you for being there for me.
All right. Well, I would take my hat off. I didn't even have no hair. There you go. So I'll just
I thought you were doing your hair while you
Okay.
All
I
right.
just want to say one thing before you start, Pauline.
Yeah.
Mr. Tony,
Yes.
and I think Malcolm, and then I think George. You know my mother. Do you remember a lady called Justine Brown? She used to be with Paisley Pond Park. Justine Brown. She used to work with neighborhood housing.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my mother.
Yes.
My mother
Oh,
knows
wow.
a lot of. My mother's no longer here, but she
Oh, my.
works.
Yeah.
She
remember.
knows every one of you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my
God
God.
bless her soul.
So I just want to
Wow.
let you know
Yeah, I remember
that
that.
I'm the prodigy of my mother. So my
Wow.
mother said when she leaves,
Wow,
I
she's a
gotta
good
take
woman.
over.
You must be a
So
great
Yes,
man.
yes.
oh yeah. So my
Yes.
mother said. So every time I talk to you, it's really my mother talking to you.
Wonderful.
So go ahead.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, girls.
I could go somewhere with that, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay, we're going to start
Whoa.
today's segment. And we're going to start off by a powerful question that I'm going to ask. And what is the role of the Black media in advertising the Black agenda? And Wayne, can you start it off for me, please?
Well, I would like to throw it out to our panel.
Okay, go ahead.
I just think that, my long time in the business, that it is imperative that as long as we have Black media to advance our agenda. And very often these days, I started out in the early 70s, and a lot of you have just come behind me. I feel like Father Time here. But the bottom line is that I remember working at WLAB. This even predates Reggie Thomas, when they felt that Black people did not wash with ivory soap. There was an accountant at the station way back when. He was trying to sell time for LIB and BLS and what was LIB-FM. And, they went to the company at Ivory. I forgot the corporate name. To buy time for the station, and the guy turned around at the corporation and said, well, we don't need to advertise at a Black station because Black people don't wash. I'll never forget that, and there was a whole campaign around that back in the early 70s, and the Reverend Al Sharpton would be a witness if he were here, So
Right.
it's issues like that. If we don't tell our story, we get lost in the sauce, and we've made advances, but we still have a long way to go.
Okay. Tony, give me your impression on the role of the Black media in advertisement, please.
Well, Black advertising is very difficult to acquire if it's just Black-owned business because of they don't have the funds necessary. So that's the only one of the problems I have. With corporate advertising is even more difficult because like Wayne said, a lot of them think they don't need to advertise, even though we circulate in a community in which most of their business come from. So I have a struggle with that. I've been successful. I've been very successful at it because 15 years I was hitting the pavement. I've been getting local advertisement. I have a lot of doctors, lawyers, professionals that do advertise with me. So I cannot really complain as far as that, but we need more. We need everybody to advertise with us because we have a message that's very, very positive.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you, Tony. Selena Hill, please give me your impression of the statement that I asked.
Yeah, no, great question. I agree with what Tony said. I think that advertisers have historically neglected the role that Black media plays in our communities. They don't understand that we are trusted sources and that our community trusts us because of our authentic voice. In fact, I just had an interview with Detavio Samuels, who is the COO of Revolt, That's the company founded by Pete Diddy. And he was telling me this as well. And he said, I believe there's about a small percentage of advertisement from these big companies is actually allocated towards Black companies. I believe he said something like 2%. And then so what happens is it pits Black media against each other because we're competing for the same amount of dollars in this very small pool of funds. And also something like that is also not fair. I do think that, you know, when we're talking about the Black agenda, it is up to us to push the Black agenda, but it's also up to us to fund the vehicles and the platforms that are going to push it. We can't trust, you know, that's how a lot of us get into these circumstances where we have to kind of feel like we're appeasing these big white-owned companies and sort of have to tone down our perspectives because we know we're so dependent on them. That's why it's up to us as a community to, you know, support economically and put the dollars behind so that we can remain independent and authentic.
Yeah.
Well put. That is beautiful.
One of the things I like to say is that we've been advancing the Black agenda in Black press for a long time. The Black Lives Movement has moved to the forefront, but for many years it was our media covering those stories. So just as we need to give some credits to, you know, all the years where we was like that silent voice, just the only one writing about it. And now we also got to look at ways that we can sustain media. Are we subscribing to our media? Are we paying that fee for our own media? So I think we need to look at how we can support our own media in this age.
Okay, Phil, thank you. Do you feel that we are supporting it?
Well, I think we are, but I think we can do a better job. I think we need to advertise with each other. We need to do business with each other when there's a price. I mean, almost everybody got cable subscription, right? Why don't we have the subscription to this young lady's podcast? So I think we need to look at, you know, today what's unique about this environment is that we don't have to get on ABC to be famous. We need to get behind people like that young lady that got her podcast. We can make a great following with the tools that we have today, but there is a price because they got costs too. Every business has a cost, and we need to sustain our media. Like we talked about yesterday, we're declining the media, but one way we can grow in media is to support it.
Okay.
I would like to back Phil up because Phil, Wayne and myself, we were on Friday with the legends. And young lady, Miss Hill, very proud of you. Very, very proud of you because we need more of the young people who are not afraid to say what we've been saying. We have nothing against white people. We don't. But we don't have to keep on begging for corporate America's money because corporate America follows us. Mm-hmm. So Tony, I wrote down, Tony, you have local doctors and lawyers. How do we expand that so we can get locals and even if you did a show, either a campaign in your newspaper, a campaign with Our World, where you got 5, 6, 10 Black lawyers and doctors are saying, these are our services, this is what you do, and we're really here, and this is where you can find us. You see, when we cross-promote each other, we expand our base. And expanding our base, we expand our dollar value. That's what